brighten up those dark mornings. Wheeler, Ollie, and Lecter. Mornings at the Cabin.
Hello, cherubs. 7 o'clock on your Wednesday morning, -7 outside. I think that's the lowest I've seen it so far. Welcome along to Mornings at the Cabin. Ollie, Lecter, and AJ with you this morning. I've been a big advocate of getting back out on a soccer field and getting a lot more exercise that way, playing outfield this year. And, of course, I had forgotten the whole issue with this, which is that, you go to the gym and it's boring as anything. But it is at least a relatively safe exercise environment. Absolutely cracked in the head by a soccer ball last night.
Oh, that's illegal now.
Oh, I know.
You're not allowed to do that.
The ref didn't even see it. I was actually offended. The ref let play go on. And I said to the ref, you realize that has just absolutely spanked me in the face, don't you? And I can now not hear a thing out of one ear. And the ref was like, no, I thought it hit your shoulder. Like, you kidding me? I didn't even get the grace of having a free kick awarded and the ball being changed out for COVID. I'm like, if I've got COVID, that's practically in the middle of that soccer ball right now.
Shouldn't you have been kicked out of the game for trying to hit it?
I mean, the ball...
Putting everyone at risk?
The ball practically kicked me out of the game. Barely even stayed in the arena. Good old late-night sports in Yellowknife. Lecter, you quit.
I quit, yeah. Hockey season is finally happening, and I decided not this year. We'll see what next year brings.
I'm told a few teams have dropped out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't... I'm not terribly surprised. I don't know, it's a big change.
It's tough to hear.
Yeah. So, see what the league looks like.
Basketball is a go. Had the meeting last night. We are a go.
Okay, basketball is a go this year. Hockey, not a go. Soccer, you're just going to get a great big pile of COVID in the face.
Mornings at the Cabin, the podcast.
Ollie, Lecter, and AJ. Nearly said Wheeler, Lecter, and AJ, as though I was somehow inhabiting his soul.
Channeling him.
Yeah.
You know what day it is?
Wednesday.
Okay, so you're still Ollie.
Okay, that's good. Good to know the concussion from last night has worn off. Woo! Welcome along, everybody. I've got mixed news for craft fair season because it's coming up, of course. But so is coronavirus, which is making life a little awkward.
Is this a good news and a bad news type situation?
It really depends on the kind of news you're looking for. But Megan Brackenbury, Cabin Radio Crafts correspondent, who has done a lot of stories on this recently.
She would be our crafts correspondent.
Wouldn't she?
Yeah.
You just knew. Like, who's going to be on the craft fair pulse in the Cabin Radio newsroom? Brack is I got this. Take a seat, everybody. I'll tell you what's happening with craft fairs. So Megan Brackenbury has filed this morning for the Cabin Radio newsroom. What does COVID-19 mean for the holiday market season? This will be up on our website in about 15 minutes' time. The end of the year is creeping closer, she writes, and for some in the NWT, that means one thing: holiday craft fairs. Rooms full of artists, craftspeople, and local businesses are an annual tradition. Craft fairs have blossomed in the territory, but with concern about new COVID-19 cases and all kinds of public health measures, fairs are trying to adapt, but in some cases, they simply can't. Yellowknife United Church, Christmas Bazaar, I'm sad to say, donezo. That will not happen this year. They told Megan, Marge Henderson, the church administrator, said, we aren't even trying. We couldn't even limit it to 25 people in the room for vendors, let alone any customers who wanted to come in. I mean, let's all sit back and remember what it is like to try to go to one of these things. If you tried to turn up at the start...
3 craft fair aficionados in this building.
Yep. You cannot even wedge yourself sideways into one of those buildings. I mean, I don't know. AJ, you craft fair? You're giving me a look like I can't believe you're even asking me this.
No, I'm not.
No?
No, I have nothing against crafts.
I honestly thought it was literally everybody.
No, I like building stuff, but I also don't care if it looks cool. So I'm like the opposite of crafts.
Yeah.
I think crafts is all about looking cool.
Equally, you would have a very entertaining stall at a winter craft fair. I have built all of this, and I paid no attention to whether it was actually desirable.
I would build the stall for the craft fair.
Yeah.
That's the bit that
you could have a stall selling stalls at the front.
Mini stalls.
Yeah. Do you need a stall? Yeah. Everyone coming in first thing in the morning. AJ has his stall.
Oh, it's adorable. There's a little craftsman in the stall. Yeah.
I'll have little mock-ups, little displays. Would you like the XL version?
Honestly, if you went around trying to sell people miniature versions of their own stall, you would sell out. I'm pretty sure everybody would be like, yep, I definitely want that.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I would do it, but it doesn't sound like they're going ahead. So,
well, there you go. Yeah, you'd be on your own. Just be a miniature. You've already made them. They're just air. Just an empty box.
Yeah.
Look, here's a version of your school this year. Oh, that's a
non-existent.
burn, AJ. Wow.
Jeez. Wow.
Maybe
Yeah,
take it easy there,
not
son.
a big crafts guy.
Harsh, AJ.
I've
Yeah.
used a hot glue gun once or twice, though.
Put some googly eyes here and
A
there.
little bit of glitter on top.
Yeah.
Done.
A couple pipe cleaners.
So-
I don't,
Mail that
I don't mess
sucker
with
in.
pipe cleaners. No.
No, fair. Okay.
Yellowknife United Church, Christmas Bazaar, done off the calendar, afraid to say. If you're in Inuvik, Great Northern Arts Festival is trying to figure out if it can still do its Christmas fair. There is the potential for that. They've just got to figure out how on earth they're going to do it.
Might just be the so-so Northern Arts Festival this year.
Yeah. Hey,
Well,
Kind of
come
already.
on.
well, you got to adapt in these times. All
it can still be great online.
It could still be great online.
We've all had great Zoom conferences.
Well,
You remember those 4 weeks of mornings at the Wabbin?
yes,
Weren't they great?
they were. Yeah,
I like
they're pretty good.
There were some standout moments.
There were some good moments.
There were
yeah.
some good moments.
Yeah,
It was a lot of effort.
it was.
It was a lot of effort. But, you
But
know,
Jesse was always on time.
Jesse was always on time. And Jesse, I think, is almost like the number one cheerleader for bringing that back.
I think he is. Yeah, I think it's a self-accountability thing.
Yeah.
Plus, we started at 8 a.m., which I think he just loved.
Yeah, that
But
was.
he would still only just log in like 3 minutes before we
Jay.
go live. Yes, he was on time, but only just like on time, like he shows up for the show.
I think it does help that there would have been a massive picture of an empty chair there. Otherwise, I think
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
a very
Yeah.
good. Like you say, it's a good.
It's a good alarm clock. It woke him
yeah.
up, and yeah.
There you go. The good news, if you're sad about the Christmas Bazaar going, Dene Narwo is going to run an Indigenous arts market online as a virtual alternative this year.
Awesome.
And the Yellowknife Guild of Arts and Crafts has a plan that will still let it host Sunday sales into November and December in person. You're just going to have to sign up beforehand, and then you're going to get a half-hour time slot with up to 15 people in at a time.
That seems like a good way to do it.
Right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like a supermarket sweep
Yeah.
approach. You know, you just...
Oh, topical. That show's back.
That
you know.
show's back.
Oh,
I
yeah.
saw that. So I suspect I watched a very different supermarket sweep to you as a kid. Because we had a British version with a British host.
Yeah.
A guy called Dale Winton, who was the
yeah.
most flamboyantly camp man you have ever seen on television. He dressed so sharply
Yeah.
and was just utterly outrageous, considering this was like the early 1990s when
Right.
this was on TV.
Yeah.
Dale was absolutely fantastic. And you watched Supermarket Sweep for Dale. You didn't really care about the contestants. You were
Yeah.
just basically watching a man in a suit camp it up around a supermarket for half an hour, and then you went about the rest of your day.
I honestly can't remember the name of the North American host, but flamboyantly camp was a very, very apt description of my visual memory of,
Maybe
that
there's just
individual.
a certain vibe you need to have if
I
you're
think
going to
so.
run a supermarket-based game
Yeah,
show.
yeah.
For some of our younger viewers,
Yes.
not me, because I totally know what it is. Could you explain to me what supermarket sweep is? For them.
So you run around a supermarket, you throw things in your cart, and then there's special items where if you find them, you throw those in your cart, you get more points.
Oh, okay. So like a Thursday night.
Yeah,
grocery
pretty much,
shopping
yeah.
trip. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Those are usually some
Now,
sort of
with the-
chocolate-based item as my special items.
There you go. With the advent of loyalty cards and points that you can get at the checkout and everything, we essentially now do supermarket sweep every time we shop for groceries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, back in the day, I remember the special item like always being Little Mermaid Dixie cups. It's so
Again, I
weird.
feel like that's
Because they just couldn't sell them.
They-
not a
It's
thing
like,
in England.
please keep these as the special item. We got to get these off the shelf.
and now we can't call them Dixie cups anymore.
So this fall, this winter, you may struggle to get Little Mermaid cups, but you may just be in luck getting to the Yellowknife Guild of Arts and Crafts. You're just going to have to watch out for the online sign-up for that. And it sounds like there will be some kind of Christmas art fair. And that's before we even get to the Santa Claus Parade. Expect some news imminently on that.
Mornings at the Cabin, the podcast, where we cut out all the great music and you're left with the rest.
Because it's cold and dark outside, that can only mean one thing. Santa Claus is on the way, and Christmas is coming soon, and the City of Yellowknife, we think, is on the cusp of making a big official announcement about the Santa Claus Parade. How do I know this, you ask? Well, largely because they've put a whole webpage up entitled Santa Claus Parade that if you go to it, explains what they're going to do with the Santa Claus Parade. The good news, there is going to be a Santa Claus Parade. The interesting news, not where you think.
Ah.
So, Lecter, where would you imagine the Santa Claus Parade to be?
Well, tradition would dictate that it would come down 52nd Street to begin, 53rd
Well, this is a
Can't
good
remember which
detailed
one it is.
explanation.
Comes down
Yep.
Franklin, and then, of course, turns down 49th Avenue.
This is more of a geography test than I was imagining, but yep.
So
sure.
there's one turn wrong there.
It's close enough.
49th Street. 50th
Oh, you're getting further away.
Street.
Okay, I feel like...
You're almost there.
So
I don't
downtown,
know.
can we just shorthand that to downtown? Yeah?
Yes, downtown. Yeah.
Okay,
Wrong.
it ain't going to be there.
No.
No. Imagine, go quite far away from downtown. If you were going to pick a street in Yellowknife that is one of the furthest possible away from downtown...
Well, just think about this. I mean, where's a good spot to have a Santa Claus parade? Maybe around suburbs where there's lots of families?
Yeah,
Sandpits.
you know what? You're not
pretty
far
much,
off.
Pretty much nailed it there.
So-
That's the room.
So this year, we're going to be going down Deschaux Boulevard and then turning onto Engle Drive for the Santa Claus Parade.
Angle Drive.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure I know where that is.
That's Cam
Basically, it's not even Cam Lake. It's the
it's the business.
it's the
between
it's the
Sand Pits
industrial
and
area.
Cam Lake.
You know where all the ice road truckers load up and everything, and
Okay.
and all that sort of where the SPCA is.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
basically Engle Drive.
Ah, yeah.
So that's
Right.
going to be Santa
Bustling
Claus
neighborhood.
Parade. But so the way that this is going to work from the City of Yellowknife's page, we're going to get a whole news release about this, I think, later on. But the details are already up. Is that families are going to drive in from the top end of Deschaux Boulevard, from the highway, basically next to Folk on the Rocks,
Okay.
past the sandpits, drive down, swing a right into the business district. I say business, it's basically into the heavy machinery district.
It's an industrial tundra.
Yeah, into the industrial tundra. And then you get onto Engle Drive, and there the parade will be. The flip side this year is that the parade stays in one place. You are the one driving through it. So there are going to be floats on either side of the vehicles, and then you drive slowly through and admire all the floats. And, Santa, I imagine, will be at the end.
Okay.
And then you drive off, and you exit to the south of Deschaux Boulevard back into Cam Lake.
Okay. I could get behind that. That's more like it's like a Christmas village that
Yeah.
you're visiting and driving through.
It's a Christmas sort of in-vehicle village.
Yeah.
And you just sort of pootle on through it in the back of your car or whatever. I mean, someone's got to be at the front. That's how cars work.
Yeah.
But yeah, you go on through and you'll get to admire everything, but the floats all stay in one place, so that means they can be very self-contained. And you obviously are staying inside a vehicle, so you're very self-contained, and there's no mingling, there's no hundreds of people all lined up downtown together or anything like that. And that is how that parade is going to work. And you know what? I have to say, much as I can imagine some people are listening to that right now and spitting out all kinds of morning beverage,
It's not COVID. Stop spitting.
you've got to admit that is a little ingenious.
That sounds lovely.
That is like, in the circumstances,
Lots of space out there.
if you're the City of Yellowknife being told, hey, here's COVID-19, we just had 2 more presumptive positives in Yellowknife, second wave, Christmas, blah, blah, blah. Well, we can't cancel the Santa Claus Parade. People are going to lose their minds. What
Yeah.
can we get Santa to do this year? That is, someone was smart.
That's
I
a
think
nice
that is.
alternative.
I think that is
Yeah.
as good an alternative as you can get.
I agree.
And while I can understand that some people, I mean, I can read the Cabin Radio Facebook comment section on this one right now. Oh, this isn't the Christmas parade that I grew up with, and it's gonna be a bloodbath in there. But I think, in the circumstances,
Yeah. That sounds really nice, actually.
we're gonna get to
Yeah.
have one,
Yeah.
and sure, it's gonna be a bit different. But you know what? It's probably gonna be quite good fun, a bit of a change in its own way. And we'll see. Who knows? There may even be a couple of elements of doing it that way that we actually think, that's kind of cool, and end up stealing for future.
Well, you can really
Right.
get set up too.
Well, yeah.
I mean, a difficult thing with a float is making sure that it's
Still mobile.
mobile and
Yeah.
it's not going to fall apart when you're moving. But this one, you can kind of have a little more stationary.
Yeah.
So there could be some cool floats. Not to mention, it's so far out of town that Santa doesn't have to go very far to get there.
Santa literally doesn't
just around
have
the
to
corner
move.
from the North Pole. Yeah,
He just
the next street
sits
over.
there.
Ever since he started renting in the Engle Business District, he's been thinking to himself, one day this will pay off.
so he's got to put his sleigh.
That
somewhere.
big storage facility. Everyone thinks all the gifts are stored at the North Pole, and they should know by it. Of course not. There's
No,
not
it's by
enough
next
room.
stream.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There's been a few mix-ups over the years where truckloads have gone up to Diavik, and then they've offloaded them and been like, where's the heavy machinery? There's just wrapped gifts. Meanwhile, Santa's back staring at a cat in the back of the truck. It's all very confusing. There's a grader in the back of the sleigh. Santa's like, this seems wrong.
SPCA's turning away the elves, being like, no, it's the next building over.
Yeah. I have to say, this sounds really, really exciting. Like given like you said, given the circumstances, like AJ mentioned, it really kind of lends itself to a bit of added creativity because you don't have to worry about your float actually having to move. You can build, beyond something that can actually still drive down the street.
You get given a slot, right? Here's where you're going to be. Do what you like with it. You just got to be able to set it up and then take it away again. And I think it's going to be a 2-hour window. So it's Saturday the 21st of November, in case anyone's wondering. Remember, Santa always comes a little bit early to Yellowknife because it's too darn cold in December for Santa to want to be outside for that long. Thanks. 5 p.m. till 7 p.m. Saturday, November the 21st.
AJ, there might be a booth building opportunity here.
Whoa.
Oh, you can have a stall at the start.
Get your craft on.
I smell a business coming.
Finally, Cabin Radio finds a way to pay some of these bills.
Cabin Radio's morning show podcast. All the best chat, none of the embarrassing mistakes.
You may recall earlier on in the week, we were discussing the fate of the Canadian town of Asbestos, which is the delightfully named Quebec town that was named, not massively subtly, for the asbestos mine around which it was built. The whole thing, asbestos mining, I mean, geez, you thought arsenic was bad. Let's just mine that stuff. Anyway, they were changing their name. Lecter and I were talking about this. AJ, I think this might be new to you.
They're changing their name?
They're changing the name of asbestos.
Typically,
Imagine
asbestos
that,
was just being removed altogether.
They're remediating the name.
They're remediating. Okay, thank you.
There you go. Yeah, we're just cleaning it up a little bit. So there were 6 choices, and we went through those 6 choices. The one that caught my eye was Jeffrey sur le Lac, which was a rather oddly anglicized French name. Their names are all francophone.
Okay.
But Jeffrey sur le Lac was the strangest, I think, of all of them. And that was apparently because it's the Jeffrey Mine was the name of the mine.
Oh,
originally.
it's not some arrogant dude.
No.
Not some bloke called Jeff who's just like, you see that lake? That's my lake.
Yeah, not a butler.
We need a name.
Yeah.
How about Andrew?
Andrew.
Sur le
The
Lac.
town of Andrew.
Mm.
Can I throw my name
Don't know
in
if that one's making the cut.
No, you can't throw your name in because the vote has already been and gone. As reported by Reuters, residents in the Canadian town of Asbestos have voted to rename their community to distance it from the once ubiquitous mineral now recognized as being extremely poisonous and linked to lung and other cancers. Great.
Now the town of Lead.
Very good. The town, formerly home to one of the largest asbestos mines, voted 51.5% in favor of changing its name to Val des Sauces. There you go.
Valley
of Sauce.
of the sauce.
As we learned earlier this week.
Sauce Valley.
Sauce
Sauce
Valley.
Valley. Saucy Valley. That is, according to results announced earlier this week, a 4-day-long referendum took place. The town's mayor, Hugh Grimard, said it's a name that represents our area and it's inspiring for the future.
So we got to get our asbestos merch right now.
Yeah. That's going to be collector's items.
You
town
know
of
there's somebody in that town. The Sarah Erasmus of Asbestos is plugging away at that right now, hammering those out, knowing full well you got to capitalize on this opportunity.
There's some guy named Jeffrey who is just cursing the results of that vote.
With his big
close.
Big Jeffrey sur le Lac t-shirt. Yeah.
I'm with Jeffrey.
Yeah. Consigned to the dustbin of history.
All gone. Yeah.
Oh, well.
51.5. Wow, that's a close vote. What came in second there?
Well, you see, they don't say, which is
They don't
very
have the
frustrating.
results. Okay.
No, they don't have it all.
Yeah.
So the mine stopped working about 9 years ago. So it's actually very recent. When you think the Giant Mine was a good 16, 17 years ago now, and how that's still a very big, looms large in life in Yellowknife.
Yeah.
The mine only quit less than a decade ago. Louise Moison-Coulombe, who was the mayor of the town from 1997 till 2002, said once upon a time we would have been very proud of that name, but now it's very difficult.
Yeah, 2008. Who would have loved it?
Because asbestos means a fiber that people are afraid of.
Right.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well,
So
and
as
they only like the building code actually came in. I think it was 1991 that you
great.
can't use it.
But
so.
yet still, like, almost 20 years after that.
Well,
they
so
were
don't-
still
you don't have to
mining
remove-
for
Yeah,
asbestos.
they're still mining, which is really interesting. Yeah,
That was still, being
Yeah.
exported.
And
People
it
were
was-
paying money.
it was the greatest thing. It is. It's fire retardant. It's
Yeah.
waterproof. It is one
Yeah.
of the greatest things you can use.
It isn't,
It's
though,
just-
is it?
It's just the
It just
darndest
kills
thing.
people.
It just,
Yeah.
It's that one
Yeah.
little sticky thing about
Yeah,
it. It just
you
it
know.
kills people. So
Well,
otherwise, it's perfect.
keep your fibers to yourself, and we'd still be fine, right?
Yeah.
We just need to, it's just COVID needs to get involved in more of our lives. Yeah, if we just learn to keep ourselves to ourselves, and that goes for you too, Asbestos.
That's right.
then
That's got to be one of the most expensive town name changes ever. What do they got to like hose down the whole town because you can't have fibers airborne? So you've got to wet the whole town, and
including
have
the people.
A specialist
The people have all got to stand outside their homes.
Yep.
You got to hose them down.
Remediation time, everybody.
Yep.
Get out your houses.
Come on, kids. Time for remediation.
Yeah, get the hose. And then the specialist's got to come in. They've got to remove the name.
It's time to clean up this stink hole. Yep. Hose the whole thing down.
Well, they probably have got to do the things like they've probably got to go around all the manhole covers and get a hold of all of those. They're all going to have asbestos written on them, which is unfortunate.
Oh, yeah. Right, yeah.
Imagine doing a renovation in that town.
Yeah. Does this have asbestos in it? Well, it's got asbestos written all over it.
In the address, technically, yes, it does.
Yeah. Oh, you can imagine filling out your insurance forms. How many times for home insurance? And it's the whole thing has just got asbestos written all over it. No, I just live there.
Yeah.
The house
you
is
removed
fine.
it. I did. I just can't change the name of the town.
One of my favorite things about Yellowknife remains the fact that the manhole covers all say White Horse. That's great. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Yep. You go...
I haven't inspected our manholes
The one that I know for sure, if you go by the downtown liquor store in the parking lot, there is a manhole cover that has White Horse written on it.
Really?
Because Yellowknife bought the excess manhole covers that White Horse had because they were cheaper.
Well, I'm all right with that. That was a good financial decision.
Yep.
To the eternal confusion of tourists in Yellowknife, if they look down and the manhole covers, they all say White Horse.
You know what? You're not a very good tourist if you're like, oh, where are we again? Check the manhole covers.
That's quite a resourceful thing to do.
Aha, yes.
Yeah, they all say White Horse. It's just a nice little Easter egg. I really enjoy that. I enjoy the fact that if you know where to look in this town, it says White Horse.
That's cool. I didn't know that.
That is great.
I wonder if they're made of asbestos.
Oh, well. Time to dig up the manhole covers.
The Mornings at the Cabin podcast.
A woman called Rose keeps trying to call the studio Skype. Rose, we don't know you. If you're phoning with, I don't know, any sort of complaint, please send that to the rant line, which doesn't exist anymore, which turns out to be the best way to deal with complaints over here, so that's exciting.
Probably what Rose is looking for.
Yeah, very fascinating. So, the Cabin Radio Skype line getting all kinds of calls this morning, none of which we're answering because that is the sole... right of an online radio station to ignore its audience entirely. Morning, everybody. Mornings at the Cabin. It is 8:38. Ollie, Lecter, and Sarah with you this morning. Morning, Sarah.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Pretty good.
Excellent. Just over here annoying the proverbial outer Lecter by, in my personal opinion, Ed Sheeran, better vocalist and songwriter than Gord Downie.
He probably doesn't even write his own songs.
Oh, you know he does.
Do I?
Maybe you don't.
I mean, he's a pop star. In this generation.
I can Google it.
Have you not watched Yesterday?
I did.
Did he not seem like a guy who writes his own songs and gets slightly angry when other people do it better?
Yeah.
Do you think that was all a facade?
I don't know.
To fool the public?
He was great, though. I'm no Ed Sheeran fan, but he was great in that movie. I love that he, showed a little humility, showed that he can laugh at himself. It was great.
I am amazed that at least 15 seconds has passed, and Shannon Moore has not written in with some sort of death threat now that I've suggested that Ed Sheeran might be a better songwriter than Gord Downie.
Well.
Which I hasten to add, I'm mostly saying on the air in the hope that I will one day manage to push Lecter over the edge and get into some sort of on-air tirade. But I feel like we're still some way from that.
There's not any reason in me expending that kind of energy to get angry when you're just plain and simply wrong. And you can be wrong. It's okay.
It's just less fun because it takes, honestly, 7 seconds to get Jesse over the edge. I just have to look at him the wrong way.
Yeah.
I don't even have to speak.
Those are the days when you're busy and you don't want to be spending time on the morning show. So you just
safest thing to do is to make one offhand remark.
Press the Jesse eject button.
Yeah, and that's me gone for the rest of the morning show.
Yeah.
Just can't do it with you. You just see it coming so far away, and you just gently avoid.
Yeah.
Well, what
Push
can you
that
do?
aside.
Sarah, we have a horticultural update from your family. We like to call them the pot parents here at Cabin Radio.
My mom's going to be so embarrassed by that name. She thinks she has nothing to do with this.
Yeah.
Oh, Carl, all my stepdad, but continue.
So your mom refers to, Carl, your stepdad, your mom refers to his plants as the special plants.
Or the little plants. They're anything but little.
They're not very little, and they're no longer that special, legally. They are perfectly legal cannabis plants, and they're doing remarkably well over in Carl's garage in northwestern Ontario.
They are. They are hanging to dry right now, taking up the whole garage. My mom whispers that they smell.
Well, one would hope so. If they didn't, then...
They stink. Don't tell Carl.
Yeah, apparently it's quite the process, though. Like, they have to dry. I don't know. I remember being like the dark, and then you have to put them in these little glass jars, and you have to rotate the jars.
Oh,
it's like
wow.
a little bit all the time, and yeah, I don't know. So
Then you got to
drying
shuffle the
process is
jars
not
around and try and
it sounds
guess
like
which
it's much
one.
more complicated when I dry it than when I dry my basil at the end of the year and just hang it in the laundry room. But
Interesting.
Okay.
it is, quite the process.
Does it make you look at the... Because you're getting photos sent back by your family of these ginormous... I mean, it looks like Attack of the Triffids in that garage right now.
Oh, yes. And when we got the pictures of the plants when they were alive, they were like peeking over the 6-foot fence. Is it 6 foot? Yeah, it must be.
It's a pretty tall fence, and those plants are doing pretty well. Does it make you think that next year is going to be your year to try some of this?
It's tempting to compete and see if I can also get a tall
Just for
plant. Not
pure
that I'm interested in
competition's
consuming them, but...
I'm fairly sure we can find some
Carl
takers in this building.
Ordered seeds from Amsterdam.
Accidentally.
He thought he was getting them from BC, and then he was like, "Why are they taking so long to come?" And then they came, and they were like sewn into like one of those like little like sweatbands for your wrists, and he almost threw it out. He was like,
What?
"What is this? I didn't order this." And then he realized he had to like cut it up and find the seeds.
The reason they came like that is the sneaky Dutch have been at this game for a long time. And, of course, usually when they're exporting seeds, they're doing so to countries where it is not legal to obtain them.
Right.
And so they put them in items of clothing so that you have to know what you're looking for.
Huh.
So that it gets through customs and is not a suspect package.
I guess that makes sense, yeah.
That's at least my understanding of the situation. So the sneaky Dutch were sending it to Carl under the pretense that he'd ordered some kind of very bland headband. And at best would be judged by Canadian customs officials as a very boring man. But in actual fact, had inadvertently acquired some super fancy Dutch strain of cannabis.
Yes, which takes a very long time to grow. So next summer, he's saying he wants something with a shorter growing season. So
Is that not an invasive species?
Are
you allowed to do that?
That's a good question.
Have we just shopped your family to the customs officers?
I mean, I guess as long as you're not tossing the seeds
As long as they're not
into the
listening, we'll be
forest.
fine.
Yeah, they're not listening. It's fine.
Probably okay.
Yeah, and as long as you don't toss the seeds in a forest. I'm sure he hasn't tossed the seeds in a forest.
Probably
No, he's
not.
just giving them to all of his friends.
He's just spread them around the town.
And now they're all competing to see who can grow the best cannabis plant.
The entire...
Weed plant? What do you say?
Yeah, cannabis plant,
Yeah,
surely.
cannabis plant.
I don't know. You look at me like I'm down with the kids. I don't know what you call those things. Marijuana?
Marijuana. Well,
Yeah,
that's
so anyways.
racist, Stella. You can't say that.
Anyways, my mom says to me on the phone, she's like, "Yeah, maybe we'll have to send some of it back with you for Jesse and AJ."
Sucks to be you, Scott.
Yeah, apparently. Wow, okay.
Clearly not a favoured morning show host.
Enjoy Jesse and AJ.
Yep. Neither you nor I favoured by that family as morning show hosts. They're just like, you know who we like? We like Jesse and we like AJ.
Yeah.
They can have some of our illegal Dutch pot.
All right, well, fine. I won't sample. I won't get back to you. And, yeah, fine. That's the way
And
it
we're
is.
phoning border control right now. Go check out the forests in northwestern Ontario, because there's Dutch pot everywhere. The deer are just hammered.
Thanks for listening. Check out more from the show at cabinradio.ca and by following the Mornings at the Cabin Facebook page.